right, welcome to our third segment. This is when we are going to take our dough that's been rising all day, and we're going to portion it into 3 sections that we're going to eventually make 3 different loaves out of. So here's my dough. I'm going to throw it out on a floured surface that I have ready right here. And then out of this, I want to make a round and a couple loaves and maybe a small round. So that makes about 4 different loaves of bread. So I'm just going to cut it right down the middle. Get one of these. It's just a pastry cutter. They're not very expensive, but it's better than using a knife. Comes in handy when you want to clean up too. You can just scrape stuff right off the counter. So there we go. I've portioned it in half. I'm going to make the round and the loaf about the same. So I'm just quartering it. And then I'm going to take each one of these quarters. I'm going to fold them up and get them ready to shape. And we'll do that on our next segment. But here I just fold them over a couple of times, make another nice little round out of it, set them on the counter, cover them with a towel, let them sit and rise a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll start making these into loaves. Our loaves have been portioned off. We've got 4 nice pieces of dough, and the first one we're going to do is going to be if you're going to make a regular loaf. So a little flour. So I'm going to take this out and make kind of a rectangle out of it. Separate it out. Then I'm going to kind of make a crease in the middle. And I'm going to fold this side over halfway. Do the same thing with this side. Halfway into the middle. I'm going to take the ends, tuck them in, tuck them in. Notice we've got some nice big air bubbles there. Those are going to form some sick bubbles when this thing cooks. So then I fold it over one more time in half, and you can kind of pinch it together with your fingers to get it to seal. This guy wants to get away. Just keep working it. So you've got something that looks like a loaf. And it's okay if you have a seam on there because that's going to be the bottom. That's what it's going to look like. So we're also going to do a round. That's my favorite. It looks cool. You can make some cool designs on it. So with these, I kind of make a triangle. I fold it in half once. I fold the corners over. Tuck everything into a ball. Seal it up like that. Turn it over. There's my round. And it's okay if you have something hanging out like this. It's going to look cool when the bread cooks. Right? Kind of a fold over. You see that sometimes on commercial loaves. All right, so this is one of the towels I'm going to use in the proofing basket, and that just gives the bread an opportunity to rise a little bit. You can do this for a couple of hours before you bake it, or you can do it overnight. You really want to be careful though, because the bread will stick to this, and it can be tough to get off later. This is a nice towel because it has a little texture to it, so it's going to put some nice marks on the bread and make it decorative. Get a good amount of flour on there. In this case, I'm doing a loaf pan. So I just have a normal loaf pan. I'm going to slide it underneath. Drop my loaf in there, seam side up. This is going to be the bottom of our loaf. Fold it over, and I'll just let that set and rise one more time before we bake it. You can also do these in the fridge overnight. Pop it out in the morning, throw it into the Dutch oven, and it's ready to go. So now I'm going to do the proofing basket for a round. And there really are proofing baskets. I keep saying proofing baskets. If you have a bread basket, you can use it. It actually works better. But you can really use anything. I just use a bowl, throw it underneath, grab my round. So seam side up. Again, it doesn't matter what this side looks like because it's going to go down in the pan. Simple as that. And now that you got your dough all ready to rise, let's go check out how you want to set up your oven. All right, we're ready to bake our bread. First thing we need to do is get our oven ready. So I usually get my oven as hot as it'll go. This oven will go up to about 500, so I set it at 500 degrees. For your racks, you want to make sure there's plenty of space up above. I've got a pan down below, which I'm going to fill with water, and that's going to be able to steam the bread nicely in here. As far as the vessels that we cook the bread in, it's usually a Dutch oven. So I've got a couple Dutch ovens. This one's great if you want to make a loaf. It's kind of oval shape. This one is great if you want to make a round. So we're going to put these in there and heat them up while the oven preheats so that they're nice and hot when we're ready to go. If you don't have a Dutch oven, go out and get one. They're fantastic. But you can also use a pan like this, which I've done before. And this is just a normal stock pot. Be careful because this thin metal will heat up and burn your bread a little bit. So if you're going to use this, just keep a close eye on it. But this will work just as good as these will. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to show you the actual baking process. Let's go.